Yep, that's right. Another computer that I really probably should not have picked up. It's freezing out here. Probably can't really tell. I mean, you can't really tell from that, and I left my IR thermometer inside. But, I think it'd be hard-pressed to be above minus 15 out here at this particular moment in time. So I'm sure that messing around with a computer is probably not a very nice thing to do to it, but this isn't a very nice computer. I paid too much for it anyway. Here you can see, apparently it'd been sitting around for a while. Because today is the 2nd or 3rd, I don't remember, of February. I'm pretty sure I only got this on Friday, but I don't remember. I'll have to look into that, and if I'm wrong, well, there'll be a video title that'll let you know, but it's got this ominous note on it that says, "For parts and case only," which kind of makes me wonder, you know, what its operational state is. It's from that era of machine that really, most of them just don't work anymore. And yes, I'm aware of the fact that there's no lighting. There's not much I can really do about it. This is just the hand that I have been dealt, because I waited too long to actually get to this. Well, we'll take a look here at the front, and we can see it says DVD-ROM and HP CD writer. I guess they put drive letters on there in Sharpie. Who knows if they're actually still valid. There's no floppy drive, but you can see there's a card reader on your usual assortment of stuff. It's even got the 1394. How fancy. This is an HP Pavilion model A710n. If the spec sticker is to be believed, and this hasn't been upgraded at all, this has an Athlon XP 3100 Plus in it, which I guess wouldn't have been too bad for the time period, but of course it's woefully outmoded now, because as far as I know, in fact, actually that is a 32-bit only CPU, and something like that is starting to actually matter in this day and age. 512 meg of RAM, which again, probably wasn't too bad when this thing was new. 160 gig hard drive, again, probably not bad when this thing was new. I get kind of the feeling, I don't remember what the Athlon XP topped out at, but I get the feeling from looking at this that this is probably a top-of-the-line machine. Probably basically maxed out the platform. I know the 3200 Plus did exist in Athlon XP trim, at least I believe it did. You can see it mentions both the CD-RW and the DVD-ROM. Integrated video, no video card on this one, which is arguably a good thing. There's your processor speed, and other information. You can pause the video if you want to read that particular sticker. There's an Athlon XP sticker. You don't see these very often, usually they just fall off. And of course it's designed for Windows XP. Take a look at the back here, as I try to block all the light. Looks like a Bestech power supply, although I don't believe that it is. There were a number of manufacturers that made these. They all look the same from the outside. The difference is the name on the sticker. Usual card ports. It's actually got a rear FireWire connection. A little surprising to see, but it's there. And a modem. The information tag doesn't really say anything of interest. Of course, these screws don't want to come out. They're supposed to be thumb screws. At least that top one didn't want to come out. I'll go ahead and we'll take the cover off. You see it's got its fair share of dirt on it. I guess all things considered, it's not too bad. Just Let's look at the interior of this thing. Again, a little bit of dirt, but all things considered, it's really not doing too badly in the dirt department. Almost looks like something's missing there. Like that should have like a better mounting than that, but I guess it's not supposed to. How big is that hard drive? Can't really tell. I'm sure you can see it on the video, but I can't see it in real life. Looks like that says 160. So, probably original. Again, probably original RAM. Original board. Doesn't look like anything's really been changed about this. A7V 8X dash LA is probably what that is. The dash LA gives away that it's an OEM board for HP. And that's a Delta power supply. Probably doesn't mean anything. Pretty sure I've had some of these explode before. Speaking of explode, like I mentioned, or like I had shown, there was a sticker on this that said, for parts or case only. So it really, given the state of completeness of this thing, suggests to me that it probably doesn't work. And what's the problem? Well, I don't know. It could really be anything. It could be the power supply, which could explode. I've certainly had some of those do that. Could be the motherboard, could be the CPU, could be the RAM. Could just be that the hard drive is bad, or maybe it was wiped. I don't know. Really, it could be anything. Never put anything past a thrift store employee, but what I'm going to do, it's really too cold out here to run the air compressor. Well, actually, that's probably not true. It's too cold for me to want to run the air compressor, and I'm not really in a rush to do it anyway. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the side cover back on this, I'm going to plug it in, we're going to power it on, see what happens, and maybe it'll do something interesting, maybe it'll blow up, I don't know, but that's part of the fun of making these videos. So I'll be right back, thanks to the magic of video editing, and we will see what this thing does. Okay, there it is, cabled up. I do have the mouse hooked up, it's in that mess. I suppose that I'd care a little bit if this thing toasts it, because that is a nice PS2 optical mouse, but, you know, that's replaceable. I think I'd care a little bit more if it decides to take my hand off. And hopefully it doesn't legitimately catch fire or something like that, because I have seen some of the best techs do that. Well, so far, nothing. I'm a little apprehensive here. It works just fine. Look at that. Let's see if we can get this set up. Now is when it'll probably choose to explode. Well, yeah. Here you go. If it didn't just lock up completely. Okay. So here's something going on here. The battery, I don't believe it, is good. That's actually impressive. However, the hard drive is not detected. So maybe that's where the problem is? I don't know. Again, like I said, it's hard to say. There's no floppy drive. We have a Samsung DVD-ROM drive. Rather interestingly, Asus CDRW. Yeah, PC 2700, 512 meg. Not much to see there. 3100 plus. And yep, everything here looks pretty well normal. So the only problem that I can see so far is that the hard drive is not detected. So I might have to see, maybe it's bad, I don't know, but I might see if I can maybe cajole it into working here. We'll see if we can go further with this machine. Alright, reseated the connector on the motherboard end, and there's our hard drive. Seems like our optical drive is a little stuck here. Don't try that on a nice computer. Well, there it is. It's got some serious electric arthritis. The other one seems like it's just as stuck. Yeah, it's just as stuck. No doubt they'd work a little bit better if they weren't trying to operate in like minus 15 degree weather. But since we have a hard drive now, I did notice that it looks like this thing does not have any hard drive monitoring functionality at all. Oh, there it is. I just didn't look far enough. Focus. There we go. 23 degrees. It's actually quite warm. For what it is out here right now, I expected it to be quite a bit lower. But we should be able to hit Control-Alt-Delete here. And we'll see if this thing actually boots now. Yeah, Windows XP Home Edition. I would wager a bet that this is probably the factory installation. I wonder how screwed up it is. Listen to that hard drive that I'm sure you can hear. Oh, we're running at non-native resolution on the display panel. And it looks pretty empty. Is my mouse at least working? Okay, now my mouse is working. That's an interesting name for the display panel. Via Video. I don't know how good that particular chip is, but Trend Micro. Titanium Internet Security. Hard to believe that someone actually paid for antivirus for something like this. But it looks like apparently they did. Okay, something really weird's going on here. I'm going to turn that resolution back down, just so I can read some of this, because this text is not really readable. I mean, look at it. It's probably, no, it's a lot more readable on the camera, but the angle that I'm at on this display panel, trying very hard not to stick my legs into this dirty mess down here. I see some interesting things. First of all, there's Trend Micro, which apparently Trend Micro no longer supports this software. Yeah, that's not a surprise. Ask me again later, I don't care. So it's probably going to load about 20 different things now. There's QuickTime, CCleaner monitoring. Of course, that's the usual thing there. Safely remove hardware. I wonder what hardware it's going to tell me. Mass storage devices. That would be the card reader, even though there's nothing in it. Numlock is on, which is true. There's the sound. Terminating HP digital imaging monitor. Probably for a printer. But the interesting thing is this. The 1394 shows up down here as a network connection. Now, technically, that could be true, but I don't think I've ever actually seen that before. Yeah, this looks like a factory install. I guess whoever owned it, that's their picture. Is there anything really... Oh my god. Yep, there's stuff on here. Again, probably standard pack-in stuff. Encarta standard. Those are all the usual things. And again, all the usual things here, other than this game channel thing here. Hot deals. Yeah, again, that's probably an HP pack-in. Stuff that looks like it probably went to like a PhotoSmart printer. It has iTurds on it. Enter video when DVD is empty. Microsoft Office 60-day trial. I noticed that those icons are blank, so I wonder if that's even still on here. Suppose we could find out. This action is only valid for products that are currently installed, so I guess it must not be. So that's gone. It does have Microsoft Works, though. Online services, again, stuff that you'd expect to find on a pack-in for a computer. PC help and tools, stuff that you'd expect to find. Quicken, that's great. Sonic Record Now, that's pack-in. Spam Subtract Spam Manager, I'm sure that worked great. Spy Subtract. So this thing has got like about 3 different antiviruses on it. I'm sure none of them are catching anything. Although I note with great interest it says install, so again, maybe that's a pack-in with HP. Yeah, that's probably just a pack-in. All of these install options. Oh, well there's a... Looks like it's there. Microsoft Office Tool Netscape. I don't know why someone would install that, but apparently they saw a reason to do so. This does have Office XP on it. I wonder if it's legitimate. Probably. Again, there's who owned it. Don't know who that is, but you can look them up if you want and give me the 411 on them. Not that I'm sure anybody really cares. There's 2 links to Outlook Express in here. Fizz programs, no idea. Pixel Perfect. UniBlue. Yes, that's probably pack-in software. There's Trend Micro, PowerShell, Silverlight, Logitech. Again, looks like more of the usual stuff. How about data? How much data is on this machine? Not very much. So they got a 160 gig drive and probably paid quite dearly for it back in the day and never even used it. Where's my mouse? There it is. So let's take a look here. Well, at least it's got Service Pack 3 on it. But yeah, I'd wager to bet that this is probably the original factory install. Huh. I wonder if that's something that the owner set, or if that's something HP set. Kind of interesting. This is Home Edition. Let's see. Here's all the drives. There's the display adapter. Not much to see there. Via Ethernet. So this thing has got a... In fact, it said A7V on the motherboard. So yeah, that's a VIA chipset. Probably not terrible. Realtek HD audio. Good. It's not the ADI crap solution that people actually gave me crap about in one of my videos over saying that Analog SoundMax was a terrible sound option. Or maybe it wasn't quite that. It was that I said that Realtek or somebody else had a decent sound solution. And people said, oh, it's a pile of crap, you know. But really, when all things are considered, even though they did suck at the beginning, even Analog Devices finally did figure out the integrated chipset for audio. I still wouldn't use them, given another choice, but... You know, the Realtek stuff doesn't sound too bad. And really, all things considered. I wonder if there are any documents on this. No, doesn't look like it. Looks like it's completely empty. So... I don't know why this... What is this? Well, I probably can't show that on video. I don't know what it is. SysPrep, yeah, this was done... Oh, there's 2 folders here. But that's empty. Well, yeah, there's a couple of things in here, including a Simpatico access password, and that's great. I wonder if that's actually even still valid. What's in the Eudora folder? Probably all of the email. So that's good. But there's nothing in my documents. That's a little strange, actually. I'm a little surprised to see that, but... Doesn't look like there's anything really useful on here. Yeah, that's somebody's email address, so that's great. I now have their email password, provided they didn't change it. So again, you know, it just sort of kind of drives home the point. Let's see if we can... No, there's only one user on the machine. So it looks like if they had any data on the machine, it looks like it is now gone. And I don't know about you, but I really don't care to bring it back. What's in the Google folder? Does this have Google Chrome on it at some point? No, just the Google toolbar. So yeah, they probably, when they installed some of the software, they just installed all the package that went along with it. Oh my god. What kind of web browser is this? Can you make this window bigger? Oh, that just opened up Internet Explorer. Well, in its later days, Netscape really was just nothing but an Internet Explorer shell anyway. No favorites. Wonder if there's anything even in the history. How do you do that in Internet Explorer? I think I asked that every video, but yeah. Nope. Nothing in the history either. Oh, never mind. Now there's a bunch of things in the history. Where's the scroll bar? I can't see what I'm doing. It doesn't look like there's anything overly serious. In fact, actually, that might just be files that I've looked at today. nsc.ca. Maybe I should know what that is. It doesn't look like there's any data left behind, though, so that's good. But, I don't know what I'll do with this. I might just yank the hard drive for my own use. Because a 160 gig IDE drive is actually not all that bad, but I'll probably yank the drive, perhaps put some random drive in it, I don't know what, or, I don't know, maybe no drive, and, although I wanted to keep the case, didn't I? That's kind of why I bought this thing. Although looking at it, I don't think it's really, well, no, you could. I suppose you could use it. You'd only have one hard drive bay, but I don't know. I'm sure I could probably find a use for this case and build something into it and put something together, but the rest of the components are pretty worthless. I don't know. I don't know if I could make back my $24.99 by getting rid of all that stuff, but I don't know. There the machine is. You saw it working, and I'll certainly make back some of that cost on this video, but it's here. Stay tuned, there'll probably be a video of this case stripped down where I use it to build something. But for the time being, it's not really much else terrifically interesting. I love how they had to put instructions on how to pull. I guess that's for pulling the front panel off of the machine, not for the hard drive. So who knows how you get that out of there. I have a couple of these, so I'm sure that I could probably figure it out. But in fact, actually, no, I would have had to have done that because I had the one that I was using as an encoder for a while. I don't know what happened to that one. Maybe I junked it. Anyway, doesn't matter, because that case was kind of crappy anyway. I mean, really, this isn't that great of a case, but, you know, $25 case isn't too bad, I suppose. But yeah, that's probably about it. Where does this go? Nowhere useful. Are there hidden files on here? That's something else that might be worth looking at. Show hidden files. And uncheck hide protected operating system files. Let's see, is there anything in there? No, just a desktop.ini file, so. Oh well. Nothing to see here. Pretty clean install, though. But I'm not really keeping the computers, so I don't really care. And I wouldn't keep a Windows install like that anyway. It does have the original factory preload on it, though. So maybe it'd be interesting to reload this. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a video about that at some point in the future. But for now, thank you for watching. And if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them below.